It's time for the book of the week, where I let you guys in on what I'm reading and loving. A comprehensive rundown of what you need to know before buying, and short because you don't really have the time. This week, it's one of my favorite Neil Gaiman novels, Neverwhere. The book of the week. Neverwhere was not technically my first Neil Gaiman novel, but it was my first dive into his own world. My initiation to the Gaiman Club actually came along when I stumbled upon his rendition of Norse mythology, which I loved, but I didn't actually pay any attention to the author. I didn't even realize who it was. I was a Gaiman virgin, okay? It was just a cool sounding book that I found on Audible and downloaded because Norse mythology just seemed like something interesting to listen to at the time. So the book was great and I fell in love with the narrator, which ended up being Neil Gaiman himself. Duh. It actually wasn't until I came upon Neverwhere that I realized that I'd already read a book by this author. The reason I bought Neverwhere actually had nothing to do with the book itself. As an aspiring author, I have found a goldmine of Gaiman interviews all over YouTube that led me down a rabbit hole that ended with me becoming a huge fan of the man himself before ever really considering his actual writing. If you're familiar with the man himself, you know that he's incredibly well spoken with a talent for commanding your attention. His advice for growing authors is well known among the community, and the respect that he's garnered both through his books as well as his mentor-like personality has catapulted him to heights that few authors dare to reach. To put it plainly, he's an inspiration. Fanboy alert. So it was with an already growing respect and high expectation for his work that I dove into Neverwhere. In Neverwhere, London has a secret, and it's called London Below. It exists literally below the streets of London, a fantastical, odd mirror to London above, where strange and magical happenings occur. As Gaiman puts it, this is the place for the people who have fallen between the cracks. Our protagonist, Richard Mayhew, is just a businessman, recently relocated to London where he's planning to get his life on track. But when his conscience forces him to stop on the street and help this mysteriously injured girl, he's pulled down into London Below. There, the girl that he's rescued, named Portico, is on a mission to uncover her family's murderers. Richard and Dora will have to enlist the help of rat worshippers and avoid the grim intentions of memorable characters like Croup and Vandemar that are hunting Dora. And because of his escapades below, Richard is quickly being forgotten by London above, and he fears that he may never be able to return to the life that he knew. That's basically all I can give you without getting into spoilers. So for me, Gaiman is a really unique author because frankly, plot isn't his thing. His plots aren't bad, but they don't always feel predetermined. And they're not particularly thrilling with threads and revelations abound. The plot just feels like a vehicle in a Gaiman novel. What he does better than any other is voice. And that voice trickles down into his character work. And I'm not talking about point of view voice. I'm talking about just genuinely memorable characters. His sing-song quirky prose perfectly complements the wacky characters that inhabit the words. This is a theme of his work, but I specifically chose Neverwhere because it's the best introduction in my opinion. It's not bloated or a hard sell. It's a story built on a unique concept that's frankly just loads of fun from beginning to end. You get sort of acquainted with Gaiman's absurdities as you follow Richard, who's just as baffled by them as you are. Gaiman doesn't tend to go for big endings or thoughtfully woven plots, which isn't to say that they're not great plots. His books just feel discovery written, which in writing means that they might have been figured out on the fly rather than carefully plotted ahead of time. I tend to prefer authors that plot extensively, but Gaiman is my favorite exception. It almost feels like his discovery writing is a necessary component to what makes the novel so special. Neverwhere feels like a romp through a fantasy land, but one that's dirty, creepy, and thoroughly adult, while still maintaining a sense of fun and adventure. Gaiman novels are always a joy to read, if for nothing but his unique way with words, but this one hits all the right spots. Gaiman is an imposing figure in the writing world, and rightly so. Neverwhere is the perfect initiation to the club. So, come on in. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy content like this, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. I will see you guys in the next one.